Hey Frig fam, Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. Today I'm going to be bringing you another tag video. Tyler from Simply Fragrances tagged me in this video, so Tyler, I really appreciate it. If you guys want to go check out his channel, I've linked it down below. He's another up and coming YouTuber and he's putting out very good content, so I definitely recommend you guys check him out. As far as the content of this video and what the tag video is, it is 10 fragrances I would wear to a party. So pretty simple topic, sounds really fun though. I haven't done a video like this yet on my channel, so I'm excited to be bringing you guys this topic. And then additionally, as far as who I'm going to be tagging, I actually haven't figured that out yet. So I'll put the people that I have tagged down in the description as well. So if you guys are watching this video, check down in the description if you're a YouTuber and see if I've tagged you or not. And additionally, we are creeping up on 500 subscribers, which is crazy to me. 6 weeks ago, we had just hit 100 and I did my first giveaway at 100 subscribers. So we are growing very quickly and honestly, it's blowing me away. And so to say thank you to everybody that's been subscribing and watching my videos, I'm gonna be doing another giveaway. So once we hit 500 subscribers or within a week's time, whichever one comes first, I will announce the giveaway winner. As far as instructions on how to enter for the giveaway and what the prize is, I'm not gonna announce it just yet. You're gonna have to keep watching this video and I'm gonna put it somewhere in the middle. So just keep watching the video and you will learn the instructions on how to enter as well as what the prize is. So with all that out of the way, if you guys are interested in hearing about my top 10 fragrances I would wear to a party, please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back. So that was a lot of information I had in intro, so I was talking a little bit fast, so I do apologize for that. As far as the fragrances for this list, we're gonna dive straight into it. Starting us off at the number 10 spot, it is Issey Miyake, Pulse of the Night. This is a great fragrance and unfortunately it can be somewhat hard to find. You don't really see it pop up that often at discounters, and when you do, it sells out like that. If you guys can snag this, it is definitely worth it. This hovers right around the $70, $80 range, and it is a fantastic kind of cold weather fragrance, or for this type of video, a party/night out fragrance. So this one focuses on a lot of darker notes, just like the whole Nuit d'Issey line does. This one has incense, there's tonka bean, amber, patchouli, vanilla, and leather as some of the prominent notes. And basically what this smells like to me is like a young bad boy in a leather jacket. That's just kind of who I envision wearing this fragrance. It is very sweet, you know, it's got this smokiness to it from that frankincense. It has a nice sweet powderiness from the tonka bean. And then you do get kind of a green, leafy, sweet vibe from that patchouli, and it's got a very dominant leather note, especially in the base, and it's just backed up by that nice, sweet, creamy vanilla. This is an amazing, amazing fragrance. It smells very high quality, one of the best fragrances from Issey Miyake, and certainly the best Nuit d'Issey fragrance in my opinion. So if you guys are looking for the one Nuit d'Issey flanker to get from Issey Miyake, this is it right here. Again, like a young bad boy in a leather jacket. That's who I see wearing this fragrance. And of course, they are attending a party when they're wearing it. So again, at the number 10 spot, that was Issey Miyake, Pulse of the Night. Next, at the number 9 spot, this is for the whiskey lovers out there. It's Nasamato Buranda. So this is not maybe what you would first think of as a fragrance you would wear to a party, but this is for those, like I said, whiskey lovers or those alcoholics, somebody that just wants to reek of the note of whiskey. This is it. This is literally the best whiskey fragrance I've ever smelled. It literally smells like you're smelling a very like high-grade whiskey or some kind of scotch. Very realistic, and just from the smell, I'm almost positive they've used actual whiskey in this fragrance. Like, it's that realistic. This also has a little bit of woodiness. There's a dark kind of muskiness line underneath it, which comes from this musk mallow. And like I said, it's got these woody notes, which makes it just a little bit more mature and classy smelling. You do get decent longevity from this as well. Very loud. It is an extrait de parfum as well, so that goes without saying. And like I said, it's very simple. There's not a ton of complexity to this, but it has a very dominant whiskey note backed up by some darker woodiness and this deep, dark muskiness. So if you want something that smells like whiskey, this is a great fragrance. And this would be a good one to wear to like a whiskey party or some kind of cocktail party, I guess you could say. So again, at the number 9 spot, that was Nasamato's Buranda. At the number 8 spot, we have, I would call an oldie. This is 20 years old exactly at this point, but I don't think it smells aged at all. This is just a great kind of playful fragrance. It's from Paco Rabanne, and it is called Ultraviolet Man. So these were kind of hard to smell from the atomizer. I'm actually gonna do a spray on camera. I love spraying this. It has this kind of unique, it's almost like a staple gun. You pull it right here on this purple handle and then it shoots out right there. So probably one of the funnest fragrances to spray. And then as far as what it smells like, you get a lot of mint, amber, vanilla, and then oak moss. So there is a little bit of spiciness right underneath there, but it's basically this sweet, minty, herbaceous kind of fragrance. And if you want something to kind of compare it to, it does have similarities to Versace Eros. Obviously this fragrance came first, you know, like I said, this came out 20 years ago, 2001. And it does kind of give you that sweet, playful, minty smell from the vanilla and then that mint, of course. This one, like I said, it's a little bit more mature, I would say, just because it has this oak moss note kind of riding underneath, giving it this green, herbaceous quality and a little bit of a spiciness. And I would say it's not quite as sweet as Versace Eros, but it is still definitely sweet and playful. This is just something I feel more comfortable wearing than Versace Eros as an example, just because it's not cloyingly sweet and it's kind of got a little bit more of a maturity to it, but it smells amazing. Don't let this tacky, cheap bottle, or cheap looking bottle, I should say, kind of put you off. The juice inside smells great. And honestly, this is one of the more mature fragrances you will get from Paco Rabanne, at least based on their current lineup. I know in the past, you know, with Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, that was a very classy, soapy men's fragrance. But as far as the releases they've been putting out in the 2000s, this one is not just like a cloying, sweet mess. It does have a little bit of maturity to it. So a great underrated fragrance from Paco Rabanne, one I would definitely wear to a party. Again, that was Paco Rabanne Ultraviolet Man. At the number 7 spot, we have a, I wouldn't say underrated fragrance from this line, but it certainly doesn't get talked about quite as much as I think it deserves. Point being is just, I think this is arguably the top 2 or 3 fragrances that this house has put out. It is from Tom Ford, and it is Fling Fabulous. Oh my gosh, I love this fragrance. This was one of those Tom Fords when I tried it at Nordstrom, and I literally took the tester strip that I sprayed it on home with me and was just smelling it all night. And then I knew right then and there I needed a bottle. So like I said, this is not underrated by any means. People buy and sell this all the time, but it's not, I wouldn't say like in everybody's top 5 Tom Fords. This is probably like number 2 or 3 for me. Even at times, maybe number 1. This is one of my favorite fragrances from Tom Ford, absolutely. And I haven't brought it up in a video yet, just because even though I like it a ton, I haven't really found a list to properly put it in. You know, it kind of has its own niche. It's very specific and situational, but it smells fantastic. So now that I'm done rambling about that, what does this actually smell like? So you get a lot of clary sage, there's lavender, there's leather, there's almond, vanilla, along with some other notes. And to me, basically what this smells like, it's a very sweet, creamy, kind of light leather fragrance. And as weird as it sounds, this faintly reminds me of the smell of gummies. I'm the only person that has ever said that, so please like take that with a grain of salt. But that's personally kind of what I get from it. And I don't mean exactly like gummies, because obviously this is a lot darker than like a fruit gummy would smell like or taste like, but that's kind of what it evokes in my head. It has a sweet playfulness to it. Like I said, it's sweet, it's creamy, it's a little bit aromatic. It's got a little bit of leather writing underneath it, especially in the base, but it smells really, really sexy. This is something I would definitely love rocking to a party, and there's nothing else out there that smells like it that I have encountered. So a great, unique fragrance from Tom Ford, very playful, perfect for a party in my opinion. Again, that was Tom Ford's Fling Fabulous. At the number 6 spot, we have one of those fragrances that I personally think every guy needs to try at least once in his life. This thing smells amazing to me. This is my favorite fragrance from this house. It is from Roja Dove, and it is Enigma or Creation E. Oh my gosh, guys, this smells so good. You need to try this, like I said, at least once if you're a guy. And honestly, even if you're a female, I think you guys could pull this off too and should try it. This smells amazing. This gets compared to Coca-Cola, and I definitely get that comparison. I make that comparison as well. but there's a lot more to this than that. Like all Roja fragrances, they have a complexity and this depth to them that is hard to describe until you smell it. Like I can sit here and tell you how it, you know, comes across to me and has these different layers, but until you smell this fragrance, you're not gonna truly understand these different layers that it has to it and just this depth and how just amazing this thing smells. So this has a very dominant note of benzoin, which is a resin. Typically it comes across sweet, but also a little bit piney, sometimes balsamic, but it has this unique kind of sparkliness to it that kind of simulates how carbonation smells. So that's part of the reason why you kind of get like a Coca-Cola effect from this, because it has that sparkliness to it. So it is very sweet, sparkly. You also get cognac in here. There's tobacco, there's vanilla, there's a nice crisp ginger note. There is, I want to say maybe a little bit of leather. At least I get kind of a leather note from it. Regardless, this thing has this amazing, sweet, just sexiness to it. This smells like something that you would wear to, again, like a cocktail party or just like a bar. This smells like a guy that just smells put together and he is like smoking a really high-class Cuban cigar or something like that. It does have this smokiness to it, but it's very light. I wouldn't say that the tobacco used here is overly dark and smoky. It's more just like a mild kind of dried leaf tobacco. The cognac here is definitely present, but not dominant, so you don't get like a bitter alcoholic touch to this. It provides more of like kind of a candied sweetness in a way, I guess you could say. But I'm telling you, the benzoin here is what shines. And not only in this fragrance, but every Roja fragrance that contains benzoin, I love. There's something about how he uses benzoin or the quality of the benzoin that he uses that it just smells fantastic. Definitely the best perfumer in my opinion as far as using benzoin, and this is his best in my opinion from his house, and his best fragrance that features benzoin, at least to me. So I know that was a lot of information, but I'm telling you, you guys need to try this fragrance. Again, that was Roja Parfums Creation E or Enigma. All right guys, we're halfway and now I'm gonna talk about the giveaway. So first off, I'm gonna list the instructions, and then second, I will announce actually what the prize is. So how to enter, of course, you need to be subscribed to the channel. You need to like this video. And then in the comments, write NW I'm in. And I will put that on screen just to make it clear. So you guys need to type that, and I'm gonna pick from the comments that write that using a random comment generator, or picker I should say, and then they will generate who the winner is from that. Additionally, you guys need to go follow me on Instagram because I'm trying to grow that platform as well. So I will put my Instagram handle along the bottom of the screen here, and then that's it. So just do those 4 steps. Again, that was subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment Northwest I'm in, and then follow me on Instagram. And if you do all 4 of those, you guys are good to go. As far as what the prize is, I have a bunch of samples here. They're all niche fragrances. I think I have some Nichones. There's some Memo Paris in here. There's some Manceras. There's some Zoologist. I have Comme des Garçons, some Kajals. There's a bunch of stuff in here. There's a lot more than that. I'm gonna pick 15 random samples from here, and the winner will get those samples. So you guys will get to try a bunch of different niche fragrances. So please enter so everybody gets a shot, or as many people as possible get a shot at winning this prize, and I'll really appreciate it. So thank you again for watching, and now we're gonna get on to the number 5 spot. So next at the number 5 spot, this fragrance had to be in this video, at least for me, just based on my personal taste. This is Creed Aventus. This is such a great fragrance to me, guys. And I know I sound real original putting Creed Aventus in a list, but this is literally one of my favorite fragrances, arguably my favorite. It certainly was my favorite fragrance at one point. Obviously, you know, I don't make money saying that I like this fragrance, and I certainly wouldn't have owned as many bottles as I did at one point if I did not enjoy this fragrance a ton. This is a great fragrance to me. We all know about the notes. It's got pineapple, bergamot, blackcurrant, there's musk, vanilla, there's ambergris, rose, patchouli. The list keeps going and going and going, but this just is a great DNA, and it wouldn't be cloned so much if people didn't love it. This started it all back in 2010, and even to this day, I still think it does smell great. Obviously, the newer formulations aren't quite as good as these older formulations that you get in these 120 milliliter size bottles, but it is a great DNA nonetheless. It's very playful but mature at the same time. It's very crisp and refreshing, but it does have this kind of richness riding down underneath from the vanilla and the patchouli. So a great DNA. I would definitely rock this to a party. I have rocked this to a party before, and I definitely will in the future. So again, at the number 5 spot, that was Creed Aventus. At the number 4 spot, I am following up the last unique fragrance with another really unique fragrance that doesn't really get talked about a lot, and that is Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. Obviously, I'm kidding you guys, but this had to be in this list. This is just basically party in a bottle. If there was any fragrance on this list that had to be in here, I think it's this one. Basically engineered for these kinds of like situations. So this one has pear, lavender, mint. There is cinnamon in here, vanilla, among like a bunch of other fragrance notes. Those are the most dominant, obviously, but this thing just smells very sweet, like ultra sweet, one of the sweetest fragrances you will ever encounter, but it does kind of have this slight aromatic touch and a little bit of spiciness underneath there, and you get a faint hint of that original La Male DNA inside, but this is mostly a standalone fragrance, not quite as much a flanker. Nonetheless, a great fragrance. Even the current formulations last a long time, so it's quite loud in beast mode. And like I said, this is just tailored for parties. So again, at the number 4 spot, that was Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. At the number 3 spot, we have a fragrance that has not been confirmed, but I do believe this is getting discontinued, guys. So take that with a grain of salt, because like I said, it has not been confirmed, but just based on the scarcity of this fragrance nowadays and how the prices have been going up, that's kind of what I'm tending to believe. This is from Mugler, and it is Pure Malt. So this, I'm sure a lot of you guys have tried this fragrance or maybe have it in your collection. Really popular, so not a huge surprise to see this in this video, but this is that type of fragrance where, you know, it just fits in these kinds of lists. You know, it has a playfulness to it, it is sweet. You get a lot of dried fruits in here. There's also some malt, whiskey, there's peat, patchouli, vanilla, coffee, among a few other fragrance notes. So it's got definitely a playfulness to it, but it is a unique DNA at the same time. Maybe not so much nowadays just because everybody has this in their collection, but when this came out, there was nothing really that smelled like it, and it is just a great, I would say, party fragrance. It's kind of, there's not much more to say than that. You know, it does kind of have a slight maturity to it. I would say this is maybe for a little bit more of a dressed up party situation or like a slightly older man, but still definitely very playful and sexy smelling, perfect for a party. And like I said, I think this may be getting discontinued along with Pure Havane. So if you guys have been itching to try this one, I would definitely try and check it out sooner rather than later, because pretty soon there's a chance it could disappear. Again, I'm not trying to create hysteria, but I'm just going off of the scarcity of the bottles. That you just can't really find it on discounters as much anymore. Even on the Mugler website itself, they go out of stock from time to time, and they can be out of stock for months. So check this one out while you can. Again, that was Mugler's Pure Malt. At the number 2 spot, we have a fragrance that I would say is maybe for a little bit more of a dressed up or mature party, not necessarily like going out to like a club or anything like that, or I don't know, a bar or something. This is more of like a formal party fragrance, but it is honestly wearable for basically any situation. I've talked about this fragrance many times. I would wear this as a signature scent if I didn't have so many fragrances in my collection. This is something you can rock anywhere, but equally you can rock it at a party. This one is from xerjoff, and it is Signature Pour Homme. Man, guys, this is such a good DNA here. I love this fragrance, particularly the opening, that lavender, the xerjoff lavender. It is amazing. It's one of those, it's just one of the best lavender openings you'll ever smell in a fragrance, at least in my opinion. So you do get a little bit of a barbershop kind of feel out the opening, but this fragrance develops really quickly and it turns into something else. As far as the dominant notes, you get a very dominant lavender note, of course. There's also myrrh in here, there's incense, there's sandalwood, oud. There is a very, very sexy sweetness that you get from this pear note. You get a little bit of rose in here among some other fragrance notes. So it's a very well blended fragrance. It can be hard to detect individual notes, which is why I think it does smell very high quality. But it is just an elegant fragrance through and through. And like I said, this is signature scent worthy, something that you could wear anytime, anywhere, but equally so, you can wear it to a party. And I think that kind of slightly sweet, playful side to this fragrance gives it a little bit of that playfulness that makes it able to be worn at like a party situation. But again, it still is very mature smelling. So for the more mature man, I guess you could say, going to some kind of party. Again, that was xerjoff Signature Pour Homme. At the number 1 spot, we have another one of those fragrances where it's just that type of DNA. It's perfect for a playful situation, certainly perfect for a party. This one is from Parfums de Marly, and it is Latin. Man, I remember trying this fragrance for the first time. It was at Nordstrom, and I did a spray on my wrist. It wasn't on a tester strip. I immediately fell in love with it, and I was actually out in downtown that day. I went back a few hours later and did another spray just to kind of get that fresh blast again, because I absolutely love this fragrance. This was actually my first niche fragrance I ever bought. So I've had a lot of history with this fragrance. I really like it. This is my second bottle, and I think I'm about a quarter of the way through it. So I've worn this fragrance a lot. At this point, I do prefer Latin Exclusive, but I think this one is better for a party. It is more wearable. It does have just more mass appeal to it. And because of that, I am putting this one here rather than the exclusive version. So as far as this fragrance, we all know about it. You get apple, there's lavender, vanilla, and cardamom as the 4 most prominent notes. It is backed up by some other spices. There's a little bit of sandalwood in the base, giving it a little bit of this kind of creaminess, but this has a very sexy, spicy, aromatic touch to it with a nice vanilla sweetness, and then of course that cardamom in there. Basically, without the cardamom, this would not be the same fragrance at all. It's really what makes this fragrance what it is, and it is an amazing cardamom note. Definitely one of those fragrances that really made me fall in love with the note of cardamom, because it is used here so elegantly. I don't need to tell you guys anymore why this is a great party fragrance. You already know why. Again, that was Parfums de Marly Latin. Well, there you go. Those are my top 10 fragrances I would wear to a party. Again, Tyler, thank you for tagging me. I really appreciate it. And be sure to go check out his channel down in the link in the description. Additionally, if you guys somehow missed the instructions on the giveaway, I did put them around the middle of the video in between some of the fragrances that I was talking about. So be sure to go watch through again and get those instructions on the giveaway. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support. And then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, write that comment I was talking about, or any other kind of comments you guys want to. Just let me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics. And then if you guys have not already, if you could subscribe and hit the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.